Well, Martin, both of these sides are looking to bolster their resumes before the new year, and the question we've all been waiting for is what happens when two Rams collide.
When two Rams collide, a lot of force, a lot of intensity, a lot of passion, and it's going to be two really good teams. And you talk about two of the best coaches in the country are here in Vegas at the Lee's Family Forum. Ryan Odom at VCU, former UMBC head coach, Utah State, goes to the NCAA tournament at both of those schools, now at VCU, and Nico Medved, 2 NCAA tournament appearances at Colorado State, has a good team this year, and it's going to be a great game.
We'll get you the starting lineup first for the Colorado State Rams, coming in with a 5-4 record out of the Mountain West. Kyan Evans trying to fill the shoes of Isaiah Stevens, hard to do in the backcourt, along with Nick Clifford, Jalen Lake, and Ethan Morton. And the freshman Kyle Jorgensen getting his 4th start of the season. Last started against UC Riverside. As the shot clock winds down to 3, and Bamisile's got to get the shot off, just does. And we'll get you the starting lineup after the shot clock violation for the VCU Rams. 8-2, hailing out of the Atlantic 10. Couple of grad transfers in the starting 5. The upperclassmen Philip Russell, Max Shulga, and Joe Bamisile. And in the front court, Jack Clark, a coveted 7th-year man, the oldest player on this roster, and Christian Furman, the big center, rounding out the starting 5. And it's interesting, Martin, because this Colorado State team, how they handle the size of VCU is going to be something to watch.
It's going to be very interesting. They have good positional size themselves, though, but VCU's got athletes. They've got size at multiple positions. Oh, what a fake by Jorgensen.
Just found himself wide open, stepped through, and that has to feel good for the freshman out of Minneapolis.
Nico Medved loves this kid, having a very good freshman year, someone who's getting instant minutes as a freshman. Very hard to do in the modern college basketball game for young players.
Russell goes behind the back to Shulga. High-powered VCU offense gives them an extra possession. Bamisile gets the shooter's touch, and it's waved off for offensive goaltending.
He's so gifted vertically. Beautiful 2-foot floater. He thought it was off the rim, but the ref saw it another way. He exploded off the ground quickly to rebound his own miss there.
Coming off a season-high 23-point performance. Not to mention his 3rd double-double of his career against Penn in their last game. That was the 4th straight win for the VCU Rams. And we're always going to preface the Rams by including their first name, because it's the first time that 2 Rams have collided in college basketball this season.
Absolutely, and there's one of those things where how many times are we going to call a game with the same mascots in our careers as broadcasters? Very unlikely.
Colorado State actually played Fordham last year. That was the last time 2 mascots with Rams played each other, as Lake comes up with the steal. They've got numbers of 3-on-2 with Morton.
Good ball movement.
Clifford from the wing. And the rebound to Bamisile.
And Max Shulga knows Colorado State well. The Utah State transfer goes to the tournament with Ryan Odom there. As Joe Bamisile got a little too excited off balance with the travel, but Shulga has played college basketball games against this Colorado State team, home and away, in Logan, in Colorado Springs. He knows these Rams very well.
7 straight games scoring in double figures for Shulga. The original plan was to go pro, then received a generous NIL offer from Villanova, so he committed there. But then once he came to the realization that he wanted to continue his college basketball career, he felt like, you know what, I need to return back to Richmond, as Jorgensen is able to stick the 3. They'll say a long 2, pardon.
They're calling it a long 2, and it's funny, you know, with this portal era, one thing I always say is, you know, transfers used to get a lot of gear, right? A lot of Marriott points. Now they get a lot of NIL too. You change schools a lot. You have a different view on this thing. It is a business now, isn't it?
You seem like you're speaking from some experience with the Marriott points.
Oh, absolutely. Come on now. When you travel across the country as a coach, recruiting, great drive by Shulga with contact. Wow.
Nice finish for Max Shulga.
He's just so good. Great size. First team All A-10 last year. He's had 3 games with 20-plus points, 8 of 10 games in double figures. He has 1,277 career points now in 5 seasons.
He and Joe Bamisile, the 2 leading scorers on this VCU team, as Morton misses the jumper and snatched out of the air by Jack Clark, who was the first transfer to join VCU this offseason. Again, a 7th-year collegiate player, has a boatload of experience. As Shulga discards, extra swing in the corner, Bamisile no.
Wow.
Russell leaves it, Furman fouled and will head to the line.
You saw Ryan Odom coach team right there. They're always passing on the move, driving to kick, swinging the ball, going from left to right. Great dump off there by Russell, drawing the contact as Furman's going to come to the line.
Christian Furman, junior out of Pennsylvania. Such a high motor. He's been a tremendous defensive player, as another talented defensive player in the freshman Luke Bamboye is getting set to check in. Furman is averaging a block and a half per contest, as we'll see Zeb Jackson return along with Bamboye for Bamisile.
And Furman brought in by Mike Rhodes. He's from Pennsylvania. Mike Rhodes is from Pennsylvania. And he's really blossomed under Ryan Odom here in his junior year, gotten better every single year. The area he really needs to get better at, those free throws, only 39% from the line. If you're a big man who can make free throws, they can't take you out at the end of the games for any reason.
Russell, a deep 3. Furman had it spill out of his hands, but it found its way in the corner to Shulga. Still looking for his first bucket tonight.
He's hustled down 2 loose ball rebounds so far on the offensive end. Always nice to have that size and a guard being able to do that.
Late shot clock again. 1, Russell, does he get it off in time? He does, and the floater is pure for Phil Russell.
Beautiful floater, going to the left, knowing time and shot clock. Unbelievable. He's been fantastic from UT Arlington. Another portal get, as Jorgensen got happy feet there.
To play game 2 of our triple header on Baller TV, Santa Clara took down Bradley by 10 earlier today, and Bradley made that a fight down the stretch mark.
Yeah, Duke Dean was sensational in the second half for Bradley, one of the top shooting teams in the country. Look at this execution by VCU. Ryan Odom, what an offensive mind he is.
Russell fouled behind the line, and he will head to the line for 3.
What's so interesting about VCU, right? The history of havoc, intense defense, full court press, amazing defense in the half court. Ryan Odom comes in with his history as an offensive genius, a savant, and they're playing elite defense in the half court for Ryan Odom. So with this talented guards, I've trademarked the term guards galore to describe VCU. They've got the talented guard play, they've got the defensive intensity, the focus, the athleticism. A just embarrassment of riches down in Richmond for Ryan Odom.
And a guy like Phil Russell, they describe him as the ultimate competitor. He kind of brings this intensity like in old school VCU guard, the likes of Eric Maynor and Darius Theus, and recently Joey Rodriguez and Bronte Weber, and a lot of these tough guys. The issue sometimes with him is he's such a passionate player, such an emotional player. Occasionally he lets those emotions build and spill over, but he's been a tremendous veteran addition to the squad.
Yeah, and one thing as a coach I always said, I'd rather have to turn you down than pump you up. You know, I want an intense competitor. I want someone with passion and emotion. 1,475 career points for Phil Russell. Walked on at St. Louis, goes to Southeast Missouri and shines, transfers to UT Arlington and shines, and now he wants to play in the NCAA tournament at VCU.
Rashawn Bemba just checked in, along with Jalen Crocker Johnson. They call him Croc in the locker room with 1. Keyshawn Williams isn't going to get it off in time. And let me ask you, Coach, when you do have a very emotional player, how were you as an assistant coach trying to calm them down on the bench?
You just got to reassure them sometimes. You can't let one bad play affect the next. That's the main message with emotional players. You know, you want them to have the excitement, the exuberance, the love of life, the energy, but sometimes you need to tone them down. Sometimes they need to sit right next to you, take a couple deep breaths, And you don't have to hold them on the bench for 3-4 minutes unless it's egregious, but tell them, hey, I needed to calm you down. You ready to go back in? And they'll say, yeah, coach, put me in, because they always want to be on that court.
Shulga takes a peek up. Get that one shot as that pass is deflected and stolen back by the Rams, coming off an emotionally charged loss to their in-state rival Colorado. First true road test and game of the season.
And Clifford returned to Colorado, where he played a couple seasons.
And it was interesting asking Coach Medved about that experience, and it was very emotional for Clifford, because it wasn't just his first return to Boulder, it was his first return in a Rams uniform as the top guy on the scouting report, and that's been a big challenge for him, as VCU is going to head to the line for 2 free throws.
Yeah, and when you're the top guy on the scouting report, a lot of the focus leading up to that game is how to take you out of your rhythm, your comfort factor, how to keep you playing to your weaknesses, as you see Shulga, the shot fake at the end of the drive, the genius on display, the fifth-year senior. What a player he's been. He's special at Utah State. Wasn't recruited to Utah State by Ryan Odom either, but completely vibed with the staff, loved everything they were about when he coached them in that NCAA tournament season, and then last year comes with Ryan Odom to VCU as he changes jobs.
And it's serendipitous that he's facing Colorado State, because while he was at Utah State, he made his collegiate debut his freshman year against Colorado State.
Yeah, unbelievable. Small world factor, right? The Mountain West, all those tough road trips in that league. You really did your research. I tip my hat to you. You're a talented play-by-play lead here, carrying our broadcast.
You're just saying that we're around the holidays. It's generous giving.
Yes, of course. 'Tis the season.
Owen Bourne just checked in the southpaw, creates a little bit of space, and gets the jumper to go.
Bourne's the guy who this staff is really excited to have him get going. He averaged 13 points last year at Northern Iowa. He's only shooting 27% from 3 this year, 6 points per game. Good to see him get going if you're Nico Medved, making his open shot there, the crafty shooting lefty.
5th turnover for VCU. Williams sees a lane and takes it coast to coast.
Another guy for Colorado State. Northern Illinois transfer, averaged 17 points per game last year. He's only averaging 6, shooting 19% from 3. So think about that. You have 2 experienced guys who still have a way another level they can get to for Colorado State, which really helps this program's upside in this year in the Mountain West.
Zeb Jackson missed the first 4 games of the season due to a fractured hand. Tough contest. Great to have him back on the floor, though. He missed their last game against Penn when he sustained an unrelated injury against Georgia Southern. They're a much more dynamic team when they have him out, and so is the case with Colorado State in Rashawn Bemba.
You love it when your players play on balance. You pivot, 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 give a little shot fake, then you can find an avenue to drop it off to Bemba. Oh, that's a little high from Zeb Jackson, who's looking for the lom for Bombagoy.
He's got to stay out of foul trouble as well, because he's got that girth inside for Colorado State, as Michael Bell is able to scoop it up and in.
Michael Bell, one of 2 players from London, going to his left, finishing across the lane. Big spot they needed right there, because they had been struggling the last few minutes offensively.
Bourne knifing through the defense, no, popped around, and Shulga. Boy, that shows the strength if you're able to bump Bemba off his spot.
Shulga's got 4 rebounds, really elevating with 2 hands. Shulga's size makes him very intriguing. He's a good athlete, good handle. Look at him get to the rim. Oh, jump ball's gonna be the call.
Timeout on the floor, 2-point lead for Colorado State over VCU. Back here at Lee's Family Forum. Martin Bahar, Jonah Malkin, delighted to be with you here in Henderson, Nevada. Colorado State leading by 2, and what has stood out to you about the way that the Colorado State Rams have played so far in the first half?
Colorado State's playing great defense. VCU only shooting 30% from the field. 0 threes so far to start the game. They've got some shot makers out there, so Colorado State really locked in on the scouting report, the closeouts. No breathing room for these shooters from VCU.
Jorgensen back in. That pass is deflected and stolen back by one of the 3 freshmen who this coaching staff under Ryan Odom really excited about with VCU, Brandon Jennings, and Bamisile somehow flips it up and in for 2.
Bamisile, the leading scorer, but it started. Brandon Jennings, highly touted freshman, 6'4", from Richmond. They were so excited to get him. They believed in him from the moment the staff moved from Utah State to VCU. They saw something recruiting locally. And Virginia, rich with talent, whether it's Northern or down in Richmond.
Lake forces it up and in, contested shot. And it's interesting about Brandon Jennings. So he used to jump rope outside on the outside basketball courts during the rain when he was younger in Richmond to kind of get ready. And to be able to play in front of his friends and family in Richmond is such a special thing for him.
Yeah, and it's the premier program in Richmond, VCU. What a history, a late whistle there on the left-hand finish that came up short from Jalen Crocker-Johnson. But it's one of those things where playing close to home, a lot of people don't understand this. A lot of times kids try to go away from home for college. For them to keep someone like Brandon Jennings close to home, tip of the hat to that staff at VCU.
Do you think it adds more pressure to a player when they're playing at home?
It shouldn't. You should be more
for their home school?
You're a great player in your hometown at the high school level, so nothing should change. If you're a competitor, you're just juiced up to play. And, you know, I got to tip my hat to Jalen Crocker-Johnson, though. This lefty is having a very good year for Nico Medved. What I like about him, though, 88% from the free throw line, and I got to be quite frank with you. If I coached some front court players who shot 88% from the free throw line, I might still be coaching today, my friend.
You enjoy this job a little bit more.
Yes, I do. Get to hang out with you, get to watch some great basketball across the country. I live outside the D.C. area, so.
You've been everywhere. Georgetown, Princeton, Fairfield, USC, San Diego.
Gosh, you sound like my agent. I love you. I'm so glad that we'll be able to work together.
Wikipedia is my best friend.
I'm on Wikipedia, my God. The standards are lower. Maybe my wife is updating the page. The ubiquitous nature of Wikipedia, anyone can edit it. I could be one of the winningest coaches of all time on Wikipedia. But what I love about VCU, I live in D.C. I came down to a couple practices this fall and summer. They just, oh, wow, Phil Russell. What a trickster. He knows how to score.
Just on the doorstep, out in transition. Here come the Colorado State Rams, still getting used to saying Rams twice. Lake in transition, no. And Furman gobbles up the defensive rebound.
You watch VCU. They have intense practices. Having gone there this fall and spring, just great level of intensity in the details, drills, competition. Competition fuels us at this college level. You got to go at people who are talented every single day.
Russell 1 for 3. Bamisile cashes in from deep. And he's worked on that aspect of his game. 2 for 6 from the floor. And it hasn't always reflected in the stats this season, just a 29%er from deep. But he's a dangerous three-point shooter once he gets cooking.
Yeah, he didn't even catch that ball clean, and he had perfect, what a chin cut there, wow. He didn't even catch it clean there. It's Keyshawn Williams.
Count it and 1, a chance for 3 for Keyshawn Williams. And it's been a long road back to the court. And when he got a chance to step on Moby Arena on opening night against North Dakota, that was his first time stepping on a basketball court in 333 days. He sustained a pretty major leg injury 2 years ago, tried to come back and play last season, appeared in one contest, just 9 minutes of action. So it's really been more like 2 years since he's returned to the floor. And he's another one of these guys, a graduate student from Chicago Heights, Illinois, a lot of experience that he can bring to this Colorado State team.
Yeah, he played at Northern Illinois. He's been at Tulsa before, too. He's someone, like we said, my time by their official. I don't know if he's looking at the shot clock. Oh, no, injury, excuse me. Jorgensen limping off. I wonder what happened. Maybe a Charlie horse of sorts. But, yeah, Keyshawn Williams is another guy. He averaged 17 at Northern Illinois. Played for Rashawn Burno there. All-MAC honorable mention caliber talent. Now you're going into a new environment. You're going to the Mountain West. You're going to an NCAA proven program under Nico Medved. And it's an adjustment. That's the thing that kids don't understand. There's opportunities out there for you, but there's an adjustment period no matter where you transfer to.
Furman, tough shot. Can't hit the hook shot, and in the hands of Clifford, who's been quiet. 0 points, just 1 shot so far tonight, and he dribbled it off his leg.
That's those things. You know, you've got someone like Clifford, only one shot here so far. You're at the top of the scouting report against it. Well, look at Billups teeing it up from deep on the full court pass. You don't see that all the time. Wow.
Well, they're a good three-point shooting team, is VCU. In fact, they've got 3 players that have hit 23 pointers this season now. Fats Billups isn't one of them, but certainly possesses that range as Clifford sees a double, tries to get the skip pass and tipped by Bamisile. So far in this first half, playing a lot more in character. They played out of character against Colorado a couple days ago. And that was the big theme for Coach Medved, is you have to play with emotion, but you can't play emotional. And how challenging is that, Coach, to strike that balance?
It's a very delicate balance, right? You're going to Colorado, Big 12 team, your state's rival. You've got a relatively new team also. This isn't an experienced team together. They have some great execution out of the timeout.
Pass, and Lake can't finish.
Oh my goodness, brilliant execution. Had the open corner, cut hard. They're gonna want that one back, and look at that finish. My goodness, Billups dancing.
From Fats.
Fats Billups down that lane line, the inside hand finish.
Now, he said, quote, as Colorado State turns it over with Kyan Evans, Fats Billups said that I was a fat little baby, and so that's why the name was attached to me, and it stayed with him.
Interesting.
Now, as I age, I don't know if that's quite what I would want attached to me.
No question.
I'm not a Division I college basketball athlete.
Well, he's always going to be in shape, it looks like. Great physique. He looks like he could run an Olympic 500-meter medley right now. Very fast, athletic. Oh, here comes Clifford. Wow.
Swatted away inside, and there's the freshman with another bam block.
Bamisile is a phenomenal freshman. 14 minutes a night, 2.2 blocks per game. VCU is 8th in the country in blocks per game, and a lot of that, you have Bamisile, you have Furman, that athleticism at front. You've got good size and athleticism 2 through 4 as well, 1 through 4 at times. Look at that pass, wow.
Great out of bounds play. Bemba right away, they found him.
No rim protection there for VCU. You have to communicate on your baseline out of bounds defense. Bemba was able to sneak in there uncovered for the easy dunk. He's a 4-point per game guy, but he can finish in the paint with time.
They will stay here with 16 to shoot as Zeb Jackson returns for Brandon Jennings. Zeb Jackson, another one of these guys who can pop off. Again, still trying to find his rhythm. Just a 6th game of the season, averaging 12.4 points per contest this year.
Yeah, you got to get back in a rhythm, and you know, you miss games early, but you're an experienced player, and he's, you know, having his best season of his career in a lot of ways too. Shooting 39% from 3, 12 points per game, but limited minutes, only 6 games.
Gordon switched on to him. Jackson from way downtown attempted that shot from Pyramid Lake, and it's off the front rim.
My goodness.
Williams sees a crease, can't get the touch.
Shulga, another rebound, fighting for loose balls today.
Russell, open look in the corner, and Clifford, who is one of the best defensive rebounders in the country.
Yeah, I talked to an unnamed NBA scout here today who's in attendance to watch Clifford. He has the size, the improved skill level, but he's an elite rebounder in the NBA. Can he be a guy who defends at a high level, makes his open shots, and then finishes possessions with rebounds?
And a foul on the floor going against VCU. That's Luke Bamboye. And saddled with the personal.
VCU has a good turnout here in Vegas. Their fan base complaining about that call. They look like a travel in their eyes with Bemba falling to the deck. And Bemba brings the physicality though, the intensity, the strength. He's somebody whose stats are modest as they look weak side again of the rim.
Good to see Jorgensen back in. The patience from the freshman, contested well by Furman inside.
Furman, shot blocker himself, keeps his hands vertical.
Clark with his first rebound, spins away from Jalen Crocker-Johnson, and will head to the line. An excellent spin. Kind of a preemptive spin to avoid the double.
Ryan Odom is furious right now. He is saying they are hand checking, using the forearm egregiously. He is working the officials here right now. begging for them to call that foul with the contact on the perimeter as Jack Clark steps to the line.
These are his first shot attempts of the night. Hits the first. Coming out of high school, he had already grown to 6'6", so he was preparing to play as a guard throughout his college career. And then in year 2, he grew to 6'10" and had to shift to the power forward and center position, but he still retained the guard skills.
Absolutely, skilled player. Was on Clemson's Elite 8 team last year as a starter. How about that? VCU gets a starting player from an ACC team in the Elite 8. Portal perspective.
4th different college program for Jack Clark. As he hit both free throws. Williams comes to get it. Russell defending him beautifully. And got a little too handsy, called for the reach in, and that's his first.
And there you go, the same call that Ryan Odom was begging for last possession. They call on VCU, the officials sending a statement to that VCU sideline.
Colorado State has played really well in their neutral site game so far this season. They beat TCU in overtime as part of the Acrisure Invitational in Palm Springs. They lost to Washington, but it was a 6-point loss. They've really competed well as Jalen Crocker-Johnson's going to head to the line. It's really only been 2 games this season where they've been kind of lopsided losses for them. But part of it, again, is the fact that now heading into these neutral site tournaments, they've got experience playing in hostile environments. And that was one of the things that Coach Medved said is, you know, a lot of teams haven't played true road games yet this season. He referenced how Kansas lost to Creighton in their first road game of the season. And I'm sure you've been on the bench for a lot of first games on the road with teams. And what do you remember about those experiences? What are the best ways to kind of handle those hostile environments for the first time?
Well, they're tough environments, but it looks like VCU's bench got teed up here, and Ryan Odom is saying no one on his bench said anything. The staff, the players are looking around, wondering who said what. A sudden technical foul right there. Nobody really knows what's going on.
It's interesting that Clifford is heading to the line to shoot it, 65.5%.
Wow. So now VCU in a little pickle with Coach still working the officials, just wondering who said what, when, why, where. Stunning.
Yeah, he's apoplectic to say the least. Belting some expletives that are not suitable for work.
Maybe for Baller TV, though.
True.
Is this an unrated broadcast?
I don't know.
I don't know either. NC-17. My goodness.
I have to ask Chad Hunt, our producer. This is Nevada, however, so if gambling's legal, then who knows?
Yeah, no question. So what you have to see now is maybe Ryan Odom wants to give his guys on the court a little spark, like, hey, we got to turn it up a notch now. This is an NCAA tournament caliber game on a neutral court. Let's get going now, fellas.
Shulga still trying to get going here in the first half. Jackson turns the corner, fouled on the bounce with 12 to shoot.
So that's going to be the 5th foul. It'll be a baseline out of bounds execution opportunity.
So they've got one more before they're over the limit. Again, you have to be pretty pleased right now if you're Colorado State with your defense, because they've really limited VCU's top scorer so far in the first half.
They've done a phenomenal job so far this afternoon. Really locked in the scouting port. Staying in, what a reverse layup.
Perfect timing. Shulga is able to untether himself and gets a tough reverse to go.
The touch, the spin, the acrobatics along the baseline. Shulga, as this VCU crowd is now fired up.
No shushing Shulga for too long. As foul committed by VCU.
It's going to be 1-and-1 here now. That's the 7th foul on VCU.
Zeb Jackson tallied with the personal. And so Bowen Bourne is going to head to the line. Transfer from Northern Iowa. And it was interesting, he actually surprise gifted every player with customized bobbleheads of themselves that he made out of clay when he arrived to encourage them to remember their time as a Ram. He got it down from the hair color to the eye color, accessories that the guys are wearing that are unique to each player. He spent months working on it in the summer, and it was just a great way to ingratiate himself as Furman off the dime from Jackson lays it in for 2.
A direct line to the rim by Furman. Zeb Jackson, known for his scoring, throws a great bounce pass down the lane as VCU picks up full court now, trying to change the energy from this game. Look at Phil Russell.
Tap to Jalen Crocker-Johnson. As you mentioned, Coach, now the defensive intensity starting to pick up here.
Absolutely. VCU fans stomping and chanting defense. Their defensive mentality. Another handsy foul.
And that's Coach, really hamstringing this VCU offense so far in the first half.
VCU 8 of 23 from the field so far. And the defensive intensity on both ends has been noticeable. It's been a physical game thus far. Closeouts aggressive, guarding drives aggressively both ways. VCU has 6 turnovers as well so far here this afternoon. Colorado State has 5 themselves, just shooting better from the field though and getting the free throw line. Now 9 of 10 from the line. VCU 6 of 9 from the line. It's been 2 well-coached teams though. They've been locked in on the scouting report. Don't want to give either team that much breathing room.
4 points now for Nick Clifford. Team's leading scorer this season, averaging 18 points per game. He has scored in double figures in every single contest this season.
Great player, developmental story, transfers from Colorado, comes to Colorado State, and has gotten better both years. Great player.
Bamisile rises up from the corner and buries a 3. And Jorgensen throws it up ahead, trying to connect on the touchdown pass with Lake. Good transition defense by VCU. We talked about it, Bamisile had cooled off from distance the games prior as that's swatted away inside by Clark.
Great pass, wow.
The trailer, Shulga, target practice.
Watching VCU practice, they drive, they stop, they fill behind their teammates, they look opposite. Bamisile, known for his scoring, making a high IQ play after making a tough 3 of his own the possession before.
First lead of the night for VCU.
Back-to-back 3s in a close defensive game. Great switch. Jack Clark and Phil Russell talking things through.
Lake turns the corner, leaves it short. Here's Russell in transition. The trailer, it's Bamisile. Bit of a heat check. It's going the other way.
Yeah, it's one of those shots you want Bamisile to take. The ball came out as a screwball, though. He didn't have the perfect rotation like he did on the make prior, but you saw Phil Russell getting to know his teammate, bringing it up, dropping it gently right at the top of the key for Bamisile. This is an unselfish team. They've got talented scorers, but they've got guys who've really developed and gotten better and getting a better understanding of how to play with their new teammates and some of their returning teammates. What a game, my goodness.
And Bamisile is the game's leading scorer right now with 8.
Good switch out again. Jack Clark communicating off the pin downs.
Trying to free up Clifford. Gets a pick, the step back. Off the front rim, Bemba. Grown man's offensive rebound, puts it back up and in.
He's a simple player. He's thick, he's strong, he rebounds. Yes, he could throw a pass as well, but that's where his bread is buttered. Right there in the paint, physical, offensive rebounding, finishing right hand.
Shulga with the leaner and drew the whistle. Is it in the act of shooting, however? Because that was the 5th team foul. And yes, they say it's in the act of shooting. So that's 3 free throws coming for Shulga.
Savvy player, felt the hand in the cookie jar. Jalen Lake on his right arm as he's going left. He's getting 3, high IQ player. And I gotta tell you, man, just looking at the nature of the NBA now, I'm looking at Shulga's size, the ability to shoot, the ability to rebound, the athleticism, the competitive spirit. there are NBA teams in the building here today evaluating. I know he's on their list.
Is there a player comp that you have for him?
I don't know, because he's such a big guard. There's a young man who I know from USC, Drew Peterson, taller though, 6'7", who's really worked his way up in the Celtics organization, now playing minutes. But I think it's very similarly because Shulga's the ability to score, shoot, drive, dribble the basketball, play on balance, rebound. There's a lot of similarities there. He's just a couple inches shorter, but in terms of having the size as a big guard and the next level, there's no doubt in my mind if he's in the right situation, this young man could be playing in the league.
And we see how comfortable international guys are playing in the States. He had so much international experience playing for the Ukrainian U18 national team as Lake can at the three, and Shulga with the rebound actually got battered across the face as well.
It's an interesting dynamic now because a lot of international players with some experience, they're making more money playing college basketball even with a couple of years overseas under their belt. So a lot of agents overseas are looking at college athletics. Hey, can I hopefully get one of my players paid at the high level of Division I? Think about that a couple years ago. They had that major quote-unquote scandal involving paying college athletes, and years later, guys are getting paid here in college, and it's just the norm now. What a world.
Do you think it needs to be regulated a little bit more, or the current status of NIL and compensation is where it needs to be?
No, it is going to change in the next 12 to 18 months. The players are, whether they're employees or not, I don't know, they're going to be paid directly by the universities.
Correct.
There's going to be a profit-sharing model with TV revenue. The benefactors short-term are going to be the high major leagues. Look at Bemba go!
Boy, rumbling down coast to coast, all the way from Austria to Vegas.
Oh my goodness. From Vienna with love. Bemba having a heck of a first half here at the Jack Jones Classic.
$32-all. Evans to finish Shulga nicely. He's got that one-on-one matchup that he likes. Cut off, and a foul on the floor. But again, it doesn't matter because they're over the limit.
Yeah, and the foul was when Evans had his left hand along the waist of Shulga, the bigger guard, dribbling him down, using his balance, his skill level, getting to the free throw line. And lo and behold, a lot of free throws this half. Colorado State 10 of 11 from the line. VCU about to attempt their 15th and 16th of the first half as Phil Russell checks into the game. Phil Russell, complimented by Coach Odom and staff, just having the spirit, the love of life that you love to be around every single day in the gym. Sometimes during the good times and bad, it's good to have a player like that, an energizer buddy, somebody who just has a great attitude, loves to compete, showcasing it in Richmond at the highest level of college basketball.
And there's been a trend as well for VCU, the 2 games that they lost. Phil Russell dealt with foul trouble.
Yeah.
So when he's out there, they're essentially undefeated this season.
Pitbull defender mentality, dynamic scoring guard. I mean, we told you at the start of this broadcast, 1,475 points in his career.
Pretty much no differential between the shot and game clock. So Clifford can wind this down. Doesn't use the Bemba screen. Shulga pulls it.
Wow.
Throws it away in the hands of Clark with 2. And only fitting that at the end of 20, these 2 teams tied at 32. What a first 20 minutes, Martin.
A physical defensive battle between 2 perennial NCAA tournament teams. They have trusted the scouting report going into this game. It's been intense, it's been engaging, and it's been a fun watch so far here at Lee's Family Forum, the Jack Jones Classic.
Say hello here at Lee's Family Forum. Coach Martin Bahar and Jonah Malkin on the call with you for Game 2 of the Jack Jones Classic. And it's been a low-scoring affair, Martin, but what have been your first thoughts from the first half?
It was, both teams are very good defensively. There was a lot of free throws, right? More than you expected to see, with VCU going 10 of 16 from the line. Colorado State going 10 of 11, but it was a physical defensive game. Old school basketball, nothing easy. Ryan Odom got a technical foul. Didn't like the physicality that wasn't called at one point. And you know, you can't be more impressed than the work up front by Rashawn Bemba. Stepping up to play here for Colorado State with physicality, intensity on that front line.
Yeah, Bemba led the way for Colorado State with 8 points in the first half, to go along with 4 rebounds. And on the first possession to start the second half, it's VCU scoring a bucket.
Yeah, Bamisile so good with that 2-foot floater, so good at that playing on bounds, elevating, and then the press creates a turnover with Jorgensen trying to dribble down court. Exactly what that VCU defense wanted to do. Let's get it out of the guard's hands. Let's make Jorgensen make some decisions. Catching the ball near half court, he falls down and travels. Quick turnover for the Rams of Colorado State.
Both teams actually only had limited turnovers in the first half, each with 6. That was just the 7th team turnover for Colorado State. Yes, we're both getting used to the Rams for both sides, as Shulga with a long stare drains a 3.
Great start to the second half for VCU. Perfect release on that 3. Shulga and Bamisile, 2 legendary players at VCU.
Second three-pointer of the night for Max Shulga. He's up to 13. Clifford turns the corner and flushes it from the baseline.
He was 0 of 5 in the first half, 4 of 4 from the line for his points. Turning the corner, the athleticism, the length, the 6'6" wing. Looking like Sean Marion there on the baseline, elevating for the 2-handed slam.
I don't know if he would like Sean Marion's shot, though.
No questions. He is a much more beautiful shot, as Jack Clark shows his beautiful shot. But make no mistake about Sean Marion. He was a bad man. What a winner. What a competitor. Yep. What a talent.
Pretty looking shot from Jack Clark.
He's got
talked
that.
About he was a guard coming out of high school, so he has those capabilities of stroking it.
And you think about this team's offensive upside. He's only shooting 22% from 3 this year, as Jalen Lake, who was quiet in the first half, also makes his second shot of the evening, the pull-up. And so Jalen Lake really improved. Nick Clifford really improved. Who's going to step into that third role of scoring for Nico Medved? Night in, night out. I need 12 to 15 from who?
Second leading scorer is Lake.
Another dribble down here. Shulga's great down here.
Shulga likes this matchup. Tough fall away. Rebound Jorgensen. Again, the question in the first half was how would Colorado State match the size of VCU? That's a big reason why Jorgensen is in there, as Clifford was fouled on the crossover by Bamisile.
Bamisile's first foul. Nothing to be concerned about. If you're watching back in Richmond, that incredible fan base from VCU, the Siegel Center. What a rocking environment. What a great, not just school, but just in terms of the athletic department. Ed McLaughlin's here, the athletic director, sitting behind the bench. They just do a fantastic job. All this conference realignment, all this talk about levels in D1. You go to VCU, you feel like you're at a high major.
Clifford, an open 3, and Clark climbs the ladder for the rebound. Up ahead, Russell got a little bit excited. And speaking of the Stew, there was a stretch for about a decade where they had 166 consecutive sellouts.
Unbelievable. Imagine playing in that environment, night in, night out, at the hardest place to play, I would argue, on the East Coast.
Okay,
college basketball.
Something.
Am I crazy? Tell me I'm wrong.
Depends whose fan base you're talking to.
Well, here's the thing.
Waved off.
It's rocking every night.
True.
If you look along the East Coast and a lot of places in college basketball, the energy's a little different in football season some places. Certain times a year, there's not a good turnout. When you go to VCU, you know you're in for a nightmare of an evening.
Absolutely. Zeb Jackson getting back in the lineup, tried to thread the needle to Furman, and it bounced off his leg. And it was interesting because Coach Odom, he turned 50 over the summer, hit the half-century mark. That's a big birthday. A couple of the players surprised him in his office with birthday signs and cupcakes and candles. But when he blew out the candles, his birthday wish, do you know what it was?
No.
To sell out every home game at the Stew this season.
Oh, I love that. I would have never known that. Well, that's an easy wish to come true, isn't it? That's what they do down there. Yeah, Coach Odom, what a job he's done.
Now, Zeb Jackson, though, did steal one of his birthday cupcakes and ate it before he walked in. The nerve of Zeb Jackson.
Oh, my goodness. The comfort level of being a star veteran player with your head coach. You've won games together. A lot of laughs, a lot of time on the bus, team meals, practice. You know, that's what I miss about coaching, those moments with your players where you're just around them, spending time, laughing. I used to have NBA TV on in my office, so I knew the players would stop in and stay a while. Oh, what a pass.
What a feed inside. Clifford to Lake. Beautiful connection.
You want to swing step. You want to swing step that if you're Furman, but it was so delayed that you just got to yell out switch at that point and keep bodies on bodies. Don't give up layups.
First assist of the night. Bamisile contested and a late whistle. An excellent explosive first step.
Bamisile's so interesting. Obviously skilled, beautiful shot, but he's so bouncy. You know, he gets off 2 feet a lot of the time and elevates. And Nick Clifford came out of nowhere. It was clean up high, but there was body down low. 2 shots for Bamisile.
And a lot of that has to do with this past off season. He hit the weight room, tweaked his diet, added 20 pounds to his frame since this time last year. But despite that additional heft, he actually increased his max vertical leap by 4 inches this past off season from 42 to 46. But it's fitting that his first basket of the season was a dunk. So immediately showcasing that increased vertical.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, his percentages aren't what they were last year, but he's scoring more. His playmaking's improved, he rebounds well, and I think his percentages will improve as the season moves along. And please don't tell my wife about that workout plan. I would hate to be forced into whatever he was doing this summer, but you know what? If I can end up jumping like him again, and I'm lying when I say again, if I can end up jumping like him with that physique, that athleticism, in great shape, in the best shape of his life in his final campaign as a college athlete, maybe I should sign up for that workout plan.
The second I mentioned birthday cake, I knew I was leaving you out to dry. That's stolen away by Bamisile.
Showtime.
Jennings back to Bamisile, lays it up and in, and it's 15 for the grad student. They leave the other end open, though, for Lake, and he takes advantage.
Ooh, man, that looked like it could be what is a timeout for Colorado State. Turns out to be a transition layup for Lake, who's gotten to the rim a couple of times. Yep.
And it's waved off for a wraparound, an offensive foul, and a turnover. Joe Bamisile and Matt Shulga starting to take over in the second half. 29 points from those two. How have they done it?
Well, Bamisile playing with that athleticism, the energy in transition, playing off 2, driving to the rim, elevating. And of course, Shulga making shots, playing aggressive too as Colorado State looks downhill. And so the luxury of having 2 experienced players in a close game against a perennial NCAA tournament team in Colorado State, you're Ryan Odom, you trust the adjustments your players will adhere to, but also they'll just step up their games in the second half. They're off to a great start here at the Jack Jones Classic.
Kyan Evans looking for that dive to the rim from Bemba. Clifford, late drop off. Nice patience inside, denied by Furman. Gets it back with 1 and flips it up and in. That's double figures for Rashawn Bemba.
Bemba's been phenomenal. The physicality, the offensive rebounding. He's got 4 offensive rebounds. Now, 10 points, playing one of his best games of the year. There's a kick out.
His season high. Clark from the corner. It's just the second time that Bemba has scored in double figures. TCU was the other.
He's physical. He's got good hands, good feet. If he makes that one from the top of the key, that could have unlocked a new dimension for Colorado State's offense. Whoa.
He likes the mismatch inside. There's Furman again. Getting it back. Williams with a clean look from the corner. We're tied at 45.
Keyshawn Williams can score. He's missed some time lately in his career, right? But at 17 points per game in a shortened season at Northern Illinois, 16 points per game at Northern Illinois. The season before that, can't let him get open shots, even though his stats aren't great this year.
Good contest by Evans. The sophomore asked to fill big shoes. Starting point guard, replacing Isaiah Stevens, who was arguably the greatest Colorado State Ram in terms of his career, leading the program in points and assists in his career.
He was unbelievable to watch.
Excellent head fake from Clifford. Draws the personal on Jennings. And it was interesting because Coach Medved was trying to downplay the importance of Evans a little bit, only from the perspective of he doesn't want to put too much pressure on him and just wants to let him be himself as VCU goes to a platoon swap.
Yeah, you know, Kyan Evans is having a good year. He's a sophomore, averaging 7 points per game, 2 assists per game. They're a good team. Nick Clifford, Jalen Lake really making the jump in their elevation this year of their games. Look at Bamba fighting for that ball.
Nearly wrestled it free. Here's another freshman, Terrence Hill. They're excited about him. One of 3 freshmen to receive a lot of playing time for this VCU team, along with Luke Bamboye and Brandon Jennings.
But if you're a competitor like Kai Evans, I want to replace Isaiah Stevens. I want to be better than him if I can. I know I can hoop in this system with Nico Medved. I mean, Ali Farouk Manesh is my assistant. I get to work with him every single day. They have a phenomenal staff there, as you see, driving to his right. How many times have we seen this? Shulga drawing contact. So good at that. So strong, but crafty. But if you're a point guard and you have to follow Isaiah Stevens, I'm ready for it. Let's do this. He's a great player. I want to be greater.
And Ali Farouk Manesh is a big reason why Bowen Bourne just was reinserted out on the floor, transferred to Colorado State. He's a former assistant coach at Northern Iowa, so they have that connection to the Panthers.
And somebody who made history against Kansas, that the audacity of Ali Farouk Manesh's shot in that moment to take that 3. Look at that. VCU's defense picking up. Wow.
No foul. Michael Bell on the other end. Contested well by Clifford. Second effort, no. And muscled down by Bemba.
Great sprint back by Clifford. Getting his hands on the ball. Jumping with Bell. Making it a tough shot. Getting the block there.
6 rebounds for Rashawn Bemba. He's the lone double-figure scorer. Clifford with a chance to add to his total, and he does. A 3-pointer falls for the Rams of Colorado State.
His first 3 of the game, he got his feet set, elevated, held his hand up high, reached for the peach, as they say. Perfect rotation on that shot by Nick Clifford.
Nearly a travel in the corner. That's good. Fats Billups hits a 3 and ties it up at 48.
Big shot by Billups there, ready to shoot in the corner. An off-balance drive, but a high IQ play, kicking the ball out. It was a great pass by Bell because he thought he lost balance.
Clifford trying to take it the distance in the hands of Shulga.
Did you see Bamboye at the rim? Intimidating.
Oh, what a crossover, Shulga. Max Shulga up to 15.
The perks of having rim protection. Clifford driving like a freight train, goes right at Bamboye. He contests the shot, makes it tough. Boom, you go out in transition. Shulga, coast to coast with the most. Wow.
Clifford, far catch, excellent drive, swatted in, a goaltending violation. Ties the score up at 50, and Clifford is starting to get going in the second half. He's got 11 to tie the score at 50 apiece. Good showing from both sides here in Henderson. The fans from Fort Collins and from Richmond making their way out west here to Henderson, Nevada. And it's great to see that kind of support cross country, especially for VCU.
Absolutely. It's Colorado State used to being in Vegas.
Yep.
Mountain West tournament here every year, play UNLV. A lot of opportunities for neutral site games. VCU, their staff familiar with Vegas, obviously was at Utah State before with Ryan Odom. but you have to find games in college basketball if you're not a high major. People will not schedule you for home and homes if you're good. So VCU comes to Vegas, great execution out of the timeout.
Shulga off the screen, buries the triple.
Dial it up as almost a steal, but dialed up by Ryan Odom beautifully there.
Second three, Lake looking for the answer. No, on the ground, Bell scoops it up.
Look at Michael Bell all over the place here this afternoon.
Trying to get out and run. It's a high-powered VCU offense. We're starting to see it a bit more here in the second half. Shulga now double figures for the 8th straight game, feeling it, left it short, and Croc with a defensive rebound.
Hey, so good playing on bounce there, just left the shot short, but drove hard right middle, jump stop, couldn't put it in there. It's been hard to breathe if you're both teams here. Look at Jalen Lake, who's improved his shooting so much during his time. Oh, that looked like a hop travel there.
Croc likes the matchup inside, and is it a tie-up? It is. And you had mentioned something, Coach, about guys not named Clifford, who's got 11, and Jalen Lake, who's got 8 to step up. Who do you think that has to be right now for Colorado State?
Well, right now, I mean, Bemba's been fantastic here tonight, but you're looking at their team. I mean, they have experienced players who's produced. So over the course of the season, look at that execution by them. Going to the weak side corner, Keyshawn Williams
with a tough two.
That's the guy I'm thinking, right? Keyshawn Williams, he averaged 17 points in the MAC. You've got Bowen Bourne, he averaged 13 points in the Missouri Valley. You know, you have Jalen Crocker-Johnson. He's only a sophomore, but he was at Little Rock last year. It was the freshman of the year in the OVC. So you have guys with experience who can make that jump. I think we'll see it evolve in real time here over the next month for them, though, as they get more acclimated to Nico Medved's system.
Tough fall away for Shulga, nothing but net. He's got 20 points. And you talked about that size at 6'5", is just able to get his shot off so beautifully.
So on balance. You know, he's on balance on the last drive, just left it short. This time he plays on balance and pivots back for the fadeaway. Talented player.
Williams just able to get rid of it off the double. Crocker-Johnson for 3.
Huge 3 right there, and we just talked about it, right? Keyshawn Williams scores. Jalen Crocker-Johnson scores. So 2 guys who have experience with modest numbers this year who can make that jump for Nico Medved.
If Crocker-Johnson can hit that 3-point shot with more regularity, he's going to see a lot more playing time as both teams starting to catch fire. There's Fats Billups again from distance.
Fats from deep. That rotation looked perfect. How about the time in the gym he spent improving his craft? That was perfect rotation, footwork, and release. Love seeing that.
Second 3 for him. As both sides now starting to shoot it much better. 8 threes for VCU, 5 for Colorado State, but the majority of them coming in the second half. As the shot clock down to 3. Lake with a clean look off the back heel, and Bamboye with the defensive board.
That's a good look for a very good shooter.
Excellent give. Bell from the corner, and that bench would have erupted.
Would have been a huge shot right there as Kyan Evans and Clifford come back to the table for Colorado State. VCU's got 3 young men at the table now ready to sub back in. Look at Bourne go.
Excellent hesitation. And Bourne high off the window to pull Colorado State within 1.
The Bourne supremacy going to his left. Not known for the short game, usually shooting it from deep. I can't believe we're sitting here courtside for this battle. What a game at the Jack Jones Classic.
Looking like Jason Bourne hunting for his own shot. A 1-point game here in Henderson. Classic game between 2 classic teams, VCU and Colorado State. First ever matchup, and we've got a doozy as Russell is able to work the baseline and gets the reverse to go.
Obviously smaller in stature, but strong, on balance, so quick with the basketball in his hands. Great player, an embarrassment of riches at the guard position for Ryan Odom.
6 points in 24 minutes for him. Williams kept that pivot foot down, falling away. Tough bucket for Keyshawn Williams, who is starting to look like his old self here tonight.
Nice revelation here in Vegas for the Colorado State Rams, like we said, they need that other scoring option to be consistent. Keyshawn Williams has certainly done that in his career. Was at Northern Illinois, was at Tulsa, has scored a lot of points in the MAC.
Gordon defended that well, the former Purdue Boilermaker.
Coach.
Clifford's got him open, no-look dish inside, and Williams snuck behind the defense unmarked, and Colorado State retakes the lead.
Just great transition offense. It was fast, but it was patient and on balance. They got Williams late at the rim. Clifford showing that dynamic all-around game.
They've hit 4 of their last 5, has CSU. Russell doesn't get the bounce, stays here. Excellent effort by Bamisile to keep it alive. To Jack Clark in the corner. It's Fats Billups for 3. No, Bamisile showing off that verticality, lays it up and in.
Unbelievable. Joe Bamisile dove into the front row, saved the ball, sprints back into the play for the offensive rebound. Did you see how high up he got? Looked like David Thompson up there. He used to be able to grab a quarter off the top of the backboard. Unbelievable Joe Bamisile performance.
Took his own elevator up to the penthouse.
How is the weather up there? My goodness, the altitude.
Clear.
Oh my. Joe Bamisile.
Shot clock down to 2. Clifford puts it on the floor, in and out. Rebound Clark.
Feels like you're watching an NCAA tournament game in real time. 2 teams fighting, scrapping, and clawing. Good kick out. Oh, wow.
Bamisile rising up off the back heel, and again, the 8th offensive rebound for VCU.
Bamisile rebounds his own miss. 5 offensive rebounds from a guard. Winning plays.
Clark, extra give. Billups, does he have another one? Furman, another offensive rebound.
Furman was like, Joe, you're not getting this one. This one's mine, brother.
Russell, step back 3. Trying to take the lid off. Bamisile gives it another try. Splashes from distance, and a timeout from Coach Medved.
What toughness and aggression by VCU there. 4 offensive rebounds. What a possession.
Sensing the moment in a December non-conference matchup, but it's got a huge feel to it. As Colorado State calls a full timeout, VCU leading by 4 with 5 minutes to play.
What I love about his game is his willingness to rebound, his willingness to share the game with his teammates, his improved play off the bounce, obviously great shooter as well. Just a fantastic watch here today. Look at him guarding in the full court, picking up Purdue transfer Ethan Morton, 94 feet.
Part of that national runner-up Boilermaker squad last year. Zach Edey has a lot of experience that he brings to this team. Jalen Lake, 6 points in the second half, just 8 for the game as that bounces through the legs of Bemba. Picked up on the floor by Shulga, who also has 20.
Hitting the deck, your senior player, putting his body on the line to get a loose ball in a very important close game.
I have to imagine a lot of the offense is going to go through Bamisile and Shulga in the closing minutes. Shulga tried to draw that rip through foul. Creates that space, step back 3 off the front rim, and Morton tracks it down.
Tough shot, good defense by Evans, just staying disciplined, keeping Shulga in front. Got to rotate now, it's gonna be 5-on-4 for a half second. Wow.
And Morton saw a phantom and gives the VCU looking to make it 5 straight wins and improve to 9-2. They've got a 4-point edge with 3:54 to play. And it's been their defense, Martin, that has started to step up. We're starting to see that heralded defense that came into this game 5th in the nation in defensive efficiency.
And both teams have been really locked into the scout. I mean, this is a 2-possession game, that's it. Late in the ball game here in Vegas, you know, Colorado State 13 turnovers right now, and they've given up 11 offensive rebounds to VCU.
Clark, no hesitation, puts it up. Furman, grown man's offensive rebound, and makes it a 6-point game.
3 offensive rebounds now for Furman. He puts it in the paint. The experienced big man thriving under Ryan Odom and his very talented coaching staff, continually getting better. I just love how VCU's grinding Ooh, Jalen Lake.
Excellent answer. They needed that bucket. He's got 10 points. 8 in the second half for Jalen Lake. And he talked about the team just having to stay together, have to be tougher pulling guys together in critical moments. He said that after the Colorado loss. It's a prime example. Hotly contested matchup. And Bamisile, the line drive three, rings up another.
How good is he? Raising up, perfect rotation, zero fear. The type of guy who gives opposing coaches nightmares thinking about scouting for them. Wow. Got to rotate now.
From two. Evans. Clark with the rebound.
Ryan Odom calls off the horses there. It's time to execute. Time is on our side. You're up 7 points, 3-possession game. As VCU is fouled, I think what Nico Medved's thinking is we only have 3 fouls this half. So you may want to use one here, call a timeout.
The perfect fan, rocking the perfect shirt. Most likely to dance, absolutely, as those fans getting set for the third game of our triple header, the nightcap, Pacific versus UNLV. Tip-off at 7:30.
Pacific much improved under Dave Spart. Here we go, a little run and jump in the half court. VCU's got to get spaced out here. Someone at the opposite corner.
Trying to trap a little bit more. Clifford got his hands in the cookie jar and is tallied with the personal. That's his third personal.
So that's going to be a run and jump here, a couple possessions. You want someone in the middle, everyone at each corner, and then in a rotation game, you might need to look opposite deep. You might get a layup or a catch and drive for an easy layup. Here they come.
Uh-oh. To Jackson has to climb the ladder to grab it, and he was fouled on the way down.
Heck of a catch. Look at
Wide
that.
receiver out there.
No question. Reaching for the ball. Raiders executives in the house looking for their next great wide receiver, Zeb Jackson.
Something to look for, too. He did come down a little bit hard on his wrist. He already has that taped up. Again, showing no signs of it right now.
VCU goes small here. Jack Clark at the 5 right now, 4 guards around him. They don't do this as much as you think with their 4 great guards, but it's a foul game and it's a free throw game and it's a take care of the ball game right now. So you want to have your skilled guys on the court. So that's foul number 6. They're gonna have to foul one more time before we get to the bonus. These are the games of human chess that college coaches are playing. Adjustments on the fly, substitutions, try to get a feel for your opponent. Very good decision here by Ryan Odom, and very smart by Colorado State, trying to use these fouls quickly so you don't waste time later in the game. 2 of the best coaches in America, in my humble, blessed opinion, my HBO.
Jackson steps back behind the three-point line. Nothing but cash. Welcome back, Zeb Jackson.
His first field goal of the game is a left to right step back 3. Are you kidding me?
Lake looking for the answer, in and out. Battling as Evans down low, ripped away by Shulga. And VCU is in prime position here. Evans commits the foul, and VCU is on the verge of winning its 5th consecutive game. There's still time to be played, but a 10-point lead and free throws the rest of the way.
From a coaching perspective here, Jack Clark stays in the game. Christian Furman is presently on the bench. You're probably going to see a switch 5 situation. You can't let Colorado State raise up for 3 when they set a ball screen or a pin. So you got to be in their guys' spaces, switch on all contact. They're going to keep their 4 guards around Jack Clark here for now. Got to make your free throws, though.
Not a single Colorado State player has hit more than 1 3. So who do you target right now? Instead, they go for 2. And Clifford and Lake with another connection to pull the Colorado State Rams within 8.
Look deep here. Boom.
Able to break the press, and Bamisile fouled by Crocker Johnson.
Can't get sloppy here, okay? Listen. That last play, they were half a second late switching onto their guy, and then you have a cut for an easy layup. you just want Colorado State to use up more time if possible. So you have to be more focused than ever. Switching on contact everywhere. Don't get back cut for easy layups. Yes, you can't give up threes right now in this state of the game, but you can't give up quick twos either. There's still 59 seconds left on the clock. And Bamisile steps to the line, having a wonderful game.
Season high for Bamisile as he hits the front end of the 1-and-1. His previous season high was their last game, 23 points against Penn. Now he's got 25, and he's 1 rebound shy of back-to-back double-doubles and potentially the 4th double-double of his career if he can collect another rebound.
I'm a sucker for guards who rebound. I love Clifford. You see him elevating. Bamisile, 5 offensive rebounds tonight. Just a dynamic performance.
9 rebounds for Clifford. Tough 2 from the baseline, fouled on the way up.
He forced a tough shot. You can't foul there, though, because the clock stops now, and Clifford could step to the line to make free throws. You have to have your press break ready right here. Run through all your passes. Once the ball's inbounded, expect the trap, get someone in the middle, get someone down the court ball side, get someone behind you. It's all about taking care of the basketball now and making your free throws.
Evans is the only one in dire foul trouble with 4. Clifford now has 12 points. Also closing in on a double-double himself with 9 rebounds.
Yeah, really quiet night for him. Only 3 of 11 from the field. 4 assists, though. Rebounds, 9 of them. A block, 2 steals. He's always going to contribute. Today was a little bit, well, right now, has been a little bit more of a quiet night for him scoring. Who's in the middle right now?
Trying to fly to the ball. And Clark is fouled. Not the worst player to foul, though he's 69% on the season is Jack Clark. And the oldest player on this court between both teams, with 7 years under his belt.
My goodness.
2 medical red shirts, 1 COVID red shirt. Now I think this is the last year that the COVID red shirt applies.
Interesting. Well, it's been a very old class of college basketball players the last 2 years. Jack Clark, this is still a 1-and-1. Makes the first, beautiful rotation there. That's an area where I want to see him get better here. Only 69% from the line. He's got a perfect form. He's 3 of 3 today, so he's going to probably be over 70% when they print tomorrow's season box score, as he misses one there, so maybe I jinxed him. But it should still go up. Oh, Shulga, the genius, wow.
Those are the winning plays. Shulga trying to put on the finishing touches.
Oh, man.
Tucker Johnson with the rebound. Colorado State's got to hurry.
Out of bounds.
Clifford stepped on the sideline, and it's going back to VCU. And what a difference, half 2 from half 1. Offensively, VCU was held to 33 points. They've scored 42 in this second half, but their defense has remained stout.
They defend for 40 minutes. It travels to Vegas. It travels to Richmond. It travels to Olean, New York. It travels to Dayton, Ohio. Can keep you in games if you stay relentless. And the diversity in their team, right? You have the front court, you have the shot blocking, but in this final minute here, minute plus, they've gone smaller. Jack Clark at the 5. You have to aggressively guard the 3-point line. You have to fly and fan out at shooters so you don't give up threes. I've always said this. Threes at the end of the game hurt you if you have a lead. Threes at the end of the game help you if you don't have a lead. When you're in a lead, giving up threes gives the opposing team life. Gives them 3 points instead of 2 or instead of 1 or 0.
What was the turning point for you in the second half for VCU? What was the moment or the moments where they were able to pull away?
Well, they just came out with energy to start the half. I mean, their energy increase was noticeable. Bamisile, the electrifying plays at the rim. Shulga making that big 3 early in the half. They just played great team basketball.
Bourne with an excellent first step. Crafts it up and in. Nice touch for Bourne.
No.
And so I love that your initial reaction is to dribble it back out.
Dribble it out.
Like a true coach.
What's he? Yep, you just want to keep the ball out. 2 respectful coaches who respect the game, play the right way, and that's how it's going to end.
And Sin City turns into Win City. VCU wins their 5th straight game and claims the first head-to-head matchup against Colorado State, as Coach Medved is having a word with the assistant coaches for VCU, but an impressive performance from this VCU Rams team in the second half.